I seek refuge in God from the outcast devil. In the name of God, who is gracious, merciful. Quran Topics by Tanvir Kazmi, chapter number 34, Human Rights and Justice, audio number 4. Al Nur 24, verse 27. O you believe, do not enter homes other than yours, without permission from their inhabitants, and without greeting them. This is better for you, that you may take heed. If you find no one in them, do not enter them until you obtain permission. If you are told, go back, you must go back. This is purer for you. Allah is fully aware of everything you do. You commit no error by entering uninhabited houses wherein there is not something that belongs to you. God knows everything you reveal and everything you hide. Al Nur 24, verse 58. O you who believe, permission must be requested by your servants and the children who have not attained puberty. This is to be done in 3 times: before the dawn prayers, at the noon when you change your clothes to rest, and after the night prayers. These are 3 private times for you. At other time it is not wrong for you or them to mingle with one another. God thus clarifies the revelation for you. Allah is all-knowing, most wise. Once the children reach puberty, they must ask permission, like those who became adults before them have asked permission. God thus clarifies His revelation for you. Allah is all-knowing, most wise. The elderly women who do not expect to get married commit nothing wrong by relaxing their dress code, provided they do not reveal too much of their bodies. To maintain modesty is better for them. Allah is hearing, knowing. The blind is not to be blamed, the crippled is not to be blamed, nor is the handicapped to be blamed, just as you are not to be blamed for eating at your homes, or the homes of your fathers, or the homes of your mothers, or the homes of your brothers, or the homes of your sisters, or the homes of your father's brothers, or the homes of your father's sisters, or the homes of your mother's brothers, or the homes of your mother's sisters, or the homes that belong to you and you possesses their keys, or the homes of your friends. You commit nothing wrong by eating together or as individual. When you enter any home, you shall greet each other a greeting from God that is blessed and good. God thus explains the revelation for you that you may understand. Al-Qasas 28, verse 76. Qarun, Korah, was one of the Moses' people who betrayed them and oppressed them. We gave him so many treasures that the keys thereof were almost too heavy for the strongest hands. His people said to him, do not be so arrogant. God does not love those who are arrogant. Use the provisions bestowed upon you by God to seek the living of the hereafter. Without neglecting your share in the world, be charitable, as God has been charitable toward you. Do not keep on corrupting the earth. God does not love the corrupters. He said, I attained all this because of my own knowledge. Did he not realize that God has destroyed before him generations that were much stronger than he and greater in number? The transgressors were not asked about their crimes. One day he came out his people in full splendor. Those who preferred this worldly life said, oh, we wish that we possessed that Korah has attained. Indeed, he is very fortunate. As for those who were blessed with knowledge, they said, woe to you! God's reward is far better for those who believe and lead a righteous life. None attains this except the steadfast. We then caused the earth to swallow him and his mention. No army could help him against God. He was not destined to be a winner. Those who were envious of him the day before said, now we realize that God is the one who provides for whomever he chooses from among his servants and withholds. If it were not for God's grace towards us, he could have caused the earth to swallow us too. We now realize that disbelievers never succeed. We reserve the abode of the hereafter for those who do not seek exaltation on earth nor corruption. The ultimate victory belongs to righteous. Whoever works righteousness receives a far better reward. As for those who commit sins, the punishment for their sins is precisely equivalent to their works. Al-Ankabut 29 verse 8. We enjoin the human being to honor his parents, but if they try to force you to set up idols beside me, do not obey them. To me is your ultimate return. Then I will inform you of everything you had done. Those who believe and lead a righteous life, we will certainly admit them with the righteous. Al-Rum 30 verse 38. Therefore you shall give the relatives their rightful share, as well as the poor and the traveling alien. This is better for those who sincerely seek God's pleasure. They are the winners. The usury taking high interest that is a practice to be increased some people's wealth does not gain anything at Allah. But if you give to charity seeking Allah's pleasure, these are the ones who receive their reward manifold. Luqman 31 verse 14. We enjoin the human being to honor his parents. Their mother bore them and the load get heavier and heavier. It takes 2 years of intensive care until weaning. You shall be appreciative of me and of your parents. To me is the ultimate destiny. If they try to force you to set up any idols beside me, do not obey them, but continue to treat them nicely in this world. You shall follow only the path of those who have submitted to me. Ultimately, you all return to me. Then I will inform you of everything you have done. O my son, know that even something as tiny as the mustard seed deep inside a rock, be it in the heavens, skies, or in the earth, God will bring it. God is sublime, cognizant. O my son, you shall observe prayers, you shall advocate righteousness and forbid evil, and remain steadfast in the face of adversity. These are the most honorable traits. You shall not treat the people with arrogance, nor shall you roam the earth proudly. Allah does not like the arrogant show offs. Walk humbly and lower your voice. The ugliest voice is the donkey's voice. Al Ahzab 33 verse 58. Those who persecute the believing men and the believing women who did not do anything wrong, they committed not only a falsehood but also a gross sin. Al Ahqaf 46 verse 15. We enjoin the human being to honor their parents. Their mother bore them adulterously, gave them birth to them adulterously, and took intimate care of them for 30 months. When they reach maturity and reach the age of 40, they say, My Lord, direct us to appreciate the blessing you have bestowed upon us and upon my parents, and to do the righteous works that please you. Let my children be righteous as well. I have repented to you. I am a submitter. Al-Rahman 55 verse 7. He constructed the sky and established the law. You shall not transgress the law. You shall establish justice. Do not violate the law. Al-Hashr 59 verse 7. Whatever Allah restored to His Messenger from the communities shall go to God and His Messenger. You shall give it to the relatives, the orphans, the poor, and the traveling alien. Thus it will not remain monopolized by the strong among you. You may keep the spoils given to you by the messenger, but do not take what he enjoins you from taking. You shall reverence God. God is strict in enforcing punishment. Al-Talaq 65 verse 1. O Prophet, when you people divorce the woman, you shall ensure that a divorce interim is fulfilled. You shall measure such an interim precisely. You shall reverence God your Lord. Do not evict them from their homes, nor shall you make life miserable for them, to force them to leave on their own unless they commit a proven adultery, zina. These are God's law. Anyone who transgresses God's law commits an injustice against themselves. You never know, maybe God wills something good to come out of this. Once the interim period is fulfilled, you may reconcile with them equitably or go through with the separation, divorce equitably. You shall have two equitable witnesses. Witness the divorce before God. This is to enlighten those who believe in Allah and the last day. Anyone who reveres God, He will create an exit for them and will provide for them whence they never expected. Anyone who trusts in God, He suffices him. God's commands are done. God has decreed for everything its fate. As for the women who have reached menopause, if you have any doubts, their interim period shall be 3 months. As for those who do not menstruate and discover that they are pregnant, their interim periods ends upon giving birth. Anyone, whoever who reveres God, He makes everything easy for him. This is God's command that He sends down to you. Anyone who reveres God, He remits his sins and rewards him generously. You shall allow them to live in the same home in which they lived with you, and do not make life miserable for them that they leave on their own. If they are pregnant, you shall spend on them until they give birth. If they nurse the infant, you shall pay them for this service. You shall maintain amicable relations among you. If you disagree, you may hire another woman to nurse the child. The rich husband shall provide support in accordance with his means, and the poor shall provide according to the means that God bestowed upon him. God does not impose on any self more than He has given it. Allah will provide ease after difficulty. Many a community rebelled against the commands of his Lord and against his messengers. Consequently, we held them strictly accountable and requited them a terrible requital.